Coming up in the news, some good news for Grand Bahama residents coming out of the latest emergency order. The Minister of Social Services addressing health issues at his ministry on Grand Bahama. And the Red Cross concerned about a potential scam. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, some good news for Grand Bahama in the latest COVID-19 emergency orders, as there has been a slight change to the island's curfew hours. For almost a year now, residents have been coping with a nighttime curfew, and some say the change may just be the beginning of the full reopening of the economy. Italia Hall reports.
In the latest COVID-19 emergency orders released on Saturday, February 13th, it states that the curfew on Grand Bahama is now from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Monday through Sunday. The change comes following a visit by the nation's leader last week, who noted that he had a discussion with health officials about adjusting the curfew due to the low COVID-19 numbers on Grand Bahama, while these residents say the extra hour will be beneficial.
Actually, it's good for them to actually allow us now for 11 o'clock, because I think Freeport has been obeying all the rules and everything here. And I thank God that they are starting to open up a little bit more so we can be able to get our life going.
Well, right now you could do more things, you know. Everybody going on to work. You see, that's the main thing. It should be extended to 12 o'clock so everybody can work shift. But, you know, it's okay.
I think it's great, especially if you're going out for dinner. You know, you have time to enjoy drinks with your friends and leave at a respectable time.
Get to do more stuff. Yeah, it's better. I think it's better.
To me, it really doesn't matter because I don't like to go out in the night anyway. So anytime after dark, I like to try to be home. But it's good for the businesses, them who have to be open. It's good for them.
It is good for the business community. So, yeah, an extra hour business rather than everybody rushing home, causing all these accidents. Give you time to pace yourself and get the patrons time to, get food to go.
Now, Arian McDonald and Quentin LaRota say while they are pleased about the extension, they believe that a curfew is no longer needed on the island.
It was at first, but I feel like once the Grand Bahamians actually stay committed to the social distancing and keeping everything, I feel like the curfew really isn't doing anything. What could we do now that we can't do after 11? So I don't feel like it makes any sense.
We know who are targeted by the disease, or who the real victims are. If you're elderly, if you have comorbidities, you should take all those precautions. If you are not in that category, you should take the precautions to help to protect those people. And so social distancing, sanitization, good hygiene, good health, exercise and lose some weight, all of those things to help. But I don't see where a curfew from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock makes any substantial difference in fighting COVID. So I think we need to get back to a sense of normalcy. And COVID don't know to come out after 11 anyway. I always wonder how come the disease know what time to come out.
Now, according to reports, the curfew went into immediate effect on Saturday, February 13th, but some residents say they were confused because there were some conflicting reports that said that the curfew would begin on Monday, February 15th.
If you have till 11, then why are the police on the road at 9, at 10 minutes to 10? I think that's what would give me the confusion, because I had to hurry up and speed to try to get home, because I don't want to take it for $500.
They should be more clear on what they're saying and actually what they're doing and implementing.
Now, also noted in the recent emergency orders, any entry into the Bahamas of a vessel or person who has departed from Haiti, whether by direct transport routes or by transitioning through another jurisdiction, and whether arriving by air or sea, shall be prohibited for a period of 21 days commencing on Monday, February 15th. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
And now to the latest COVID-19 statistics. The Ministry of Health confirming 6 new cases, 5 in New Providence and 1 in Grand Bahama. Those 6 new cases bringing the country's total of confirmed cases to 8,376. There are 16 hospitalizations, 1 in Grand Bahama. 14 recoveries were reported and the death toll stands at 179. The Minister of Social Services addressing health concerns at his ministry here on Grand Bahama. While on Grand Bahama last week, our ZNS News team spoke with Minister Frankie Campbell about the health issues and the ongoing transition to a digital platform. Coming into our ZNS newsroom, alleging health concerns at the Department of Social Services. Staff members say they believe that the local office is causing health issues stemming from mold originating as far back as Hurricane Dorian in 2019. While on Grand Bahama, the Minister of Social Services, the Honorable Frankie Campbell, addressed those concerns, noting that the local office was thoroughly cleaned post-Dorian by the owners of the Sunshine Plaza.
On my visits, I would have been satisfied from the surface that the renovations were properly done. I can't speak to what would have been underneath, but I know that as we are concerned about satisfying our external customers, we are conscious that in order to do that properly, we must satisfy and make comfortable our internal clients, our staff. And so whatever complaints they would have had or would have been addressed, there would have been some cleaning authorized as a result of the complaints that they would have made.
He adds that the permanent secretary in the ministry was on Grand Bahama to address the concerns of staff members.
To speak with them, to hear whatever other complaints they have, and to allay their fears, to assure them that whatever we're doing in the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development is not New Providence-centric. We are concerned about every staff member throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We are concerned about the accommodations provided for them. We are concerned about their ability to be able to produce at a level that our clients will express their satisfaction.
Now, following the monster storm and the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the minister says that the department had to make major adjustments to accommodate the increased demand that the department was not used to handling. Since then, he says he believes that progress has been made.
I think our staff, who themselves would have been victims of both Dorian and COVID, have responded well. We continue with our digitization process, which should come into full force within another month or so. And we're satisfied that even thus far, the numbers have reduced in terms of the long lines. We've been able to satisfy the requests that we usually have. There have been some backlogs, there have been some hiccups, but that is how it is when you're making changes.
Minister Campbell adds that he is satisfied with the ongoing training for the staff as they continue to roll out their digitization process.
Looking forward, and I'm talking about in the near future, that the level of service that they're going to be able to get owing to our digital wallets, owing to the digital platform that will allow them to make a request for assistance from the comfort of their homes and get a response, and then get their funds sent to a digital wallet that they don't have to go to a long line. We're satisfied that those will revolutionize the service that we give to the Bahamian people.
Megan Shepard. The Ministry of Agriculture continuing to push the message of food security and stability in the country. The minister responsible touring the local Department of Agriculture along with the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister last week. In this report, the Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister noting that the field is making great progress. The Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, the Honorable Michael Pintard, touting the progress being made within the department. He says that they are currently running several programs to address food security issues in the country. One of those initiatives is to work along with the Small Business Development Center to provide funding for new and recently established farmers.
That program is going exceptionally well. We should be dispatching additional payments first to those who were impacted by Dorian, but also new farmers as well as those that are expanding their operation. Secondly, we are increasing the subsidy package. That is the benefits that the government give to farmers. So we're providing additional free birds that lay eggs. Secondly, continuing with the land clearing exercise, providing backyard kits for residents as well as farmers, providing hydroponic systems at a dramatically discounted rate so persons can grow their crops year-round in some instances.
The minister says they are also facilitating training opportunities.
We are running a program along with the Israeli NGO Volcani Institute, and we intended to accommodate 1,000 persons. The program was oversubscribed. It benefits the entire Caribbean, but it's launched through the Bahamas based on our relationship with them. And now we've expanded the program to 2,000 persons. We are also providing seedlings, cuttings of various crops, including cassava. So there's a whole range of programs that we're providing.
And in the near future, farmers can also look forward to land leases.
We are now signing the land leases. So you should hear in another week or so the announcement of a fairly large batch of leases that will be signed to provide young Bahamians, including those persons who are part of the apiary program, and other initiatives with land in East Grand Bahama. We're doing the same thing, of course, in Andros, New Providence, etc. So we're excited.
Minister Pintard adding that recent studies have revealed that more young Bahamians are entering the agricultural field as a career path. He views it as significant as they seek to continue growth in the sector.
The recent study conducted by the private sector in Grand Bahama, inclusive of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, found that Bahamians believe that there has to be diversification in the Bahamian economy, and particularly Bahamians in Grand Bahama. And the number one area identified by many persons have been agriculture and marine resources. Among that group, the vast majority are young persons under the age of 40. And so we've had an explosion. We are seeing the same trend all over the country. And a number of them are coming to the table with financing already in place. So I'm extremely encouraged. We also have a huge initiative that we're working along with the Grand Bahama Port Authority on, the establishment of an agro-village and agri-park. And that program is very promising. It will feature international companies, but a whole lot of Bahamian companies, particularly those who are using greenhouse technology.
Megan. The Grand Bahama Red Cross sending out a warning tonight. Officials say there are fraudsters out there soliciting donations on behalf of the Red Cross, and they are asking members of the public to beware. Jamila Mizik has the details.
Administrator at the Bahamas Red Cross Grand Bahama Center, Stephanie Barr, says they have been alerted that unknown persons are soliciting donations on behalf of the Red Cross. She says such phone calls are not legitimate.
I just want persons to know and the general public to know, do your verifications. You know who the persons who are here. You know, I'm Mrs. Barr, I'm the administrator here. And you know Mr. Rinaldi Forbes, he is the chairman here. We don't solicit funds in that manner. We have a stationery, the letterhead. It would be properly documented, and it wouldn't be via a phone call. And so no, I don't support whatever the public is doing. And so you do your verification. Once you've done that, made the call us and let us know that X, Y, and Z have been calling you, on that. So you call us and let us know. And once we say, well, no, it's not us, then you don't have to support that.
She says it is disheartening to know that persons would use the name of the Red Cross to solicit funds for their own selfish agenda.
We're trying to assist the public as best we can. And we have to rely on those same persons that you're going to with false, rumors that we have sent you to do so. Our business is to assist the public in all communities whenever we have it, and to have this, no, I really and truly don't support it, and we here at the Red Cross, don't like it.
Barr notes that the Red Cross is always in need of financial assistance with their daily programs, but hopes that this scam doesn't discourage persons from donating to their legitimate programs.
We have our feeding programs that we run. We have our Meals on Wheels that we run daily, where we feed 50 persons every day, a meal. And then we have our monthly persons. We have another 25, who could prepare the meals for themselves. So we package a parcel and give it to them, at the end of the month. So, we have our programs running, and we certainly wouldn't want, an abrupt end to, persons doing that.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
The BALEARIA Caribbean now servicing the island of Bimini. On Friday, the fast ferry made its first stop to the island since the pandemic. Officials say the passenger load is encouraging. Jamila Mizik has the latest.
Caribbean resuming services to Grands Bahama and sailing into Bimini after not being able to carry passengers for months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. President of JAGS International and representative for the BALEARIA Caribbean, James Turner, says they are pleased with how operations are going thus far. He says the first service into Bimini on Friday, February 12th saw more than 100 passengers.
Of course, all of the government social distancing and COVID protocols have been met. Customers are pleased at what they're experiencing, but I got to tell you that I am ecstatic about what has happened on the first sailing into Bimini. The vessel took in a little over 100 persons, and there were a significant number of those persons were only passengers who were going over to Bimini to enjoy themselves for the day. So that's wonderful. I mean, Bimini has a following, and we clearly can see that.
He says although it is still early, the response from persons wanting to travel on the BALEARIA is encouraging.
Into Grand Bahama, there was a little less than 50 persons that came in, and the truth is that's kind of what we were aiming for, because we really didn't want to just open the gates and have a flood. We wanted to be able to manage the numbers, make sure there were no surprises, and make sure that all of the protocols in place were actually working. And we've seen that from the first sailings. We've seen that so far the protocols are adequate. People are pleased. There's no hysteria of any kind. And the government officials are pleased. So it's good. Now, in terms of a demand, I mean, who could have imagined that Bimini would have been attracting 120-something persons? So we know that there is clearly some pent-up tourism demand in the United States of America where people are prepared to take the appropriate test. And once they present their negative results, they are now prepared to travel. So it's a flicker of good hope for the Bahamas, because clearly there are folks prepared to come into Grand Bahama and Bimini.
Turner explains the Triangle service.
Triangle service will primarily happen on Sundays. Now, as of the last Sunday in this month, the Triangle will begin. What happens is the vessel departs out of Fort Lauderdale, goes into Bimini first, and then departs from Bimini with visitors only coming into Grand Bahama, and then will leave the portion of passengers that wish to be in Grand Bahama at that time. It then leaves Grand Bahama at about 4 p.m. and goes back to Bimini, where they'll pick up those passengers who are returning to the United States, and then go back into Fort Lauderdale, Florida, arriving back in about 9:30 p.m.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
The U.S. Coast Guard has suspended its search for 6 persons missing at sea after their boat apparently capsized off Florida's Atlantic coast. According to reports, the search began Friday morning when a boater rescued a Jamaican national who said 6 others were with him when their 18-foot vessel overturned on Wednesday, 23 miles offshore from Fort Pierce. The group were en route from Bimini, Bahamas, according to the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard said it dispatched 3 cutters and an airplane to search the area. The rescued man was transported ashore for medical treatment. And to stay with us, there's more news right after this break.